Jesus was arrested 2 months prior to his 18th birthday for stealing a cell phone. He could have gone to lockup, but instead, he chose an alternative to stay with one of our house parents, Connor. His mother passed away right before this had happened, and he was living with his aunt. And only 2 months before his arrest, his friend was murdered. Once he settled in with Connor, he began to talk about these losses and also about the fears for his safety. One of our SMART team trauma clinicians met with Jesus and helped him to manage his fears and to build a safety plan. SMART team found Jesus a safe place to stay and one that would allow him to continue on his path towards graduation. SMART team was there every step of the way, and that's what made all the difference for Jesus. SMART team works with over 500 young people just like Jesus. They're low income, unstably housed, often gang involved, and impacted by high levels of community violence. These circumstances trigger our youth to engage in reactive behavior like weapons carrying, fighting, gang involvement, and other risk-taking behavior that increases their vulnerability. SMART team's mission is to help young people to build trust in themselves, in others, and in the community around them. Our youth struggle every day. 319 Boston youth who are returning from incarceration are supervised by the Department of Youth Services. 5,000 young people in Massachusetts are homeless, and so many of our youth are impacted by trauma, domestic violence, community violence, abuse, or neglect. SMART team is there when young people are struggling with overwhelming circumstances and overwhelming worries. SMART team is there when a young person experiences a sudden loss or a homicide. SMART team is there when a young person is returning from incarceration and struggling to rebuild their lives. We're there when a young person needs advocacy so that they get the resources and the opportunities that they deserve. And sometimes SMART team is there when a young person needs someone to walk them to the doctors. Having someone in your corner, building trust, teaching about relationships, advocating, is sadly not a common experience for our youth. Let me give you some facts about SMART team. We are the go-to agency for the Department of Youth Services when young people are returning from incarceration. 65% of these youth are referred to SMART team. We serve about 80 homeless young people with education and housing supports. We are called in on most youth homicides in Boston to provide services to up to 10 young people impacted by this event. Beyond the systemic impacts, beyond the individual impacts, SMART team is there to develop and shape best practices and teach juvenile justice leaders. We're there to shape policy so that it will reflect the needs of our youth. Our services increase public safety and decrease the cost of incarceration. There are so many more young people just like Jesus that we need to reach. And so in the next 2 years, we have some pretty big goals. To increase our clinical services to reach 375 young people some of whom when they turn 18 will age out of insurance eligibility. Expand our transitional homes to serve an additional 50 youth. To increase our case management services of homeless youth to an additional 3 high schools. And finally, to double the number of young people that we can reach who are impacted by homicide and other serious violence. In total, we'll reach over 1,000 young people by 2018. To do this, we're going to need to raise $450,000 to hire and train clinicians, $200,000 to recruit and train house parents to serve an additional 40 youth, $200,000 to increase our case management services of homeless youth, and $100,000 to build capacity within our team. In total, we'll need to raise over $950,000 over the next 2 years. This will allow us to reach an additional 500 youth just like Jesus. Jesus' struggles are all too common. But unfortunately, his success is not. Thank you for the opportunity to share Jesus' story and to teach you about other youth like him, who, with our help, can build trust, can build relationships, and healthy communities. Thank you so much for your support.